Hey everyone, and welcome. Today, we are diving into one of the coolest parts of modern web design, motion. We're going to pull back the curtain on how you can make your websites feel dynamic, interactive, and, well, truly alive. So let's get right into it.
You know that feeling when you're on a website and a button kind of glows when you hover over it, or a notification just slides smoothly into view? It feels like a little bit of magic, right? Well, it's not magic, it's code. And more often than not, it's the power of CSS animations at work.
And you know, the best part is, it's probably way easier than you think. In this explainer, we're going to break down exactly what CSS animations are, why they're so powerful, and then we'll actually build a simple one together, step by step.
Okay, first things first. Let's get a handle on what we're actually talking about here, and more importantly, why this is a tool that every web developer should have in their back pocket.
At its core, that's really all it is. You're just telling the browser, hey, see this element? I want it to start looking like this, and I want it to end looking like that. Maybe it starts on the right side of the screen and ends up in the center. CSS animation is what handles that entire smooth journey from point A to point B.
So why use CSS for this? Well, there are three huge reasons. First, they are just incredibly easy to use for simple effects. You don't need any JavaScript at all. Second, they are built for performance. The browser is optimized to run them super smoothly so you avoid any jerky movements. And third, they're efficient. The browser is actually smart enough to slow down animations and tabs you aren't looking at, which saves precious battery life and CPU. It's a win-win-win.
To make any CSS animation, you just need two core ingredients. Seriously, that's it. Think of it like a recipe. You need to know what you're making, and you need the instructions on how to make it.
And here are those two parts, laid out perfectly. On the right, we have something called @keyframes. This is the what in our recipe. It defines what the animation actually looks like, the start point, the end point, and any steps in between. Then on the left, you've got the animation properties. This is the how. These properties tell the element how to use those keyframes, how long to take, whether to repeat, that kind of thing. You absolutely need both for this to work.
All right, enough theory. The best way to really get this is to just build something. So let's create a simple animation where a piece of text slides in from off the screen.
So, step one, we define the animation itself with that @keyframes rule. First, we give it a name. Here, we're calling it slide in. Makes sense. Then we define the from and to states. These are really just shortcuts for 0% and 100% of the animation's timeline. This is where we describe what the element looks like at the very beginning and at the very end.
Now, let's break down this starting point. What's going on here? Well, translate is positioning the element 150 viewport widths to the right, which is way off the screen. And scale is making it twice its normal width. So at the very start of our animation, our element is invisible, kind of stretched out, and far away.
Okay, now for the second part of our recipe. We target our paragraph element, the P tag. First, we use animation name to tell it which set of keyframes to use. In this case, our slide-in animation. Then we use animation duration to tell it how long the whole thing should take from start to finish. Here we've set it to 3 seconds.
And yeah, just to be super clear on this, animation duration is exactly what it sounds like. It's just the total time it takes for the animation to play through one time.
Okay, cool. We have a basic animation. It slides in once and then it stops. But what if we want to make it a little more interesting? Let's add some polish with just a couple more lines of code.
To make this animation loop forever, all we have to do is add the property animation iteration count and give it the value infinite. Now, instead of stopping after 3 seconds, it'll finish, instantly jump back to the start, and run again, and again, and again.
But you know, that jump back to the start can be a little jarring, right? It just snaps back into position. There's a much smoother way to create a continuous back and forth effect.
And the solution is animation direction. By setting its value to alternate, we're telling the browser to play the animation forwards on the first run, then play it backwards on the second, then forwards again, and so on. This creates this beautiful, seamless, oscillating motion. So much better.
We've actually covered a lot of ground in just a few minutes. So let's quickly recap the most important points, and I'll even throw in a pro tip to make your code a little cleaner.
So it all comes down to this 4-step process. 1. Define the what, the appearance, using @keyframes. 2. Give your animation a name with animation name. 3. Set the timing with animation duration. And 4. Apply those properties to the element you want to bring to life. That's really it.
And here is that power-up I promised. Instead of writing out each property on a separate line, you can use the shorthand animation property.
Here, we've combined the duration, the iteration count, the direction, and the name all into one single elegant line. It does the exact same thing as our previous code, but it's just so much cleaner.
So what should you take away from all this? Remember this: CSS animations are a powerful and really efficient way to add motion to your sites. Every single animation is just a combination of the @keyframes, that's the what, and the animation properties, that's the how. By mixing and matching these simple building blocks, the possibilities are pretty much endless.
With these tools, you now have the fundamental recipe for adding motion and life to any element on a web page. So the only question left is, what will you create? What stories will you tell with motion? Go ahead and start experimenting.